Welcome to Glen. The purpose of this overview is to provide an update on exploration activities in Glen. In terms of key highlights, a recent drill program was completed on the tenement in October 2010, consisting of 11 100-metre drill holes. Some encouraging iron grades were encountered in the order of 40 to 50% Fe over downhole thicknesses of 5 metres to 12 metres. By way of reference, 50% Fe equates to 70% magnetite ore grade. The magnetite ore body extends beyond the drilled area and is open on all sides at width and at depth. Further drilling and exploration activities are planned in the short term across several areas of interest. An experienced exploration team and strong management is in place. Specialist advisors have been appointed to evaluate the commercialisation of the ore body, and there is the potential for mining operations to be established relatively quickly, taking full advantage of the excellent infrastructure. In addition, financial advisors have been appointed to care for a London AIM listing for Glen Holdings Limited, scheduled for the first quarter of 2011. The opportunity, a potential high-value increase for the tenement short term. The Glen tenement is situated 40 kilometres south of the city of Townsville. Townsville is Australia's largest tropical city and a major regional centre for commercial and government services in North Queensland. The tenure for Glen is held within EPM 15654, which provides a permit for exploration through to mid-2012. It consists of 7 subblocks. The area of interest is fairly central to the tenement and focuses on an abandoned mine known as the Glen Pit. The Glen Pit represents the most significant mineralisation within the tenement and is described as a magnetite sulphide skarn. This photograph shows the elevation and extent of the Glen Pit. In the 14 years from 1955 to 1969, over 36,000 tonnes of ore was extracted by North Australian Cement Limited. The main commodity was iron as magnetite and hematite used in the manufacture of cement. In 1969 the company was sold, the tenement was surrendered and the mine abandoned. The tenement has virtually laid dormant since until recent times. In 2007, Australian Gold Holdings Limited took up the EPM tenement and completed a ground magnetic survey and an extensive series of soil samples. They were seeking a joint venture at the time, but went into receivership in October 2008. The tenement was then taken up by Glen Holdings Limited in 2010, and they completed 11 100-metre drill holes in October 2010 and have identified a magnetite resource. In 2007, Australian Gold Holdings engaged TerraSearch, a specialist mineral exploration, geology and computer company based in Townsville, to carry out a ground magnetic survey over in excess of 5 square kilometres and an extensive series of soil sampling. The report is an extensive document covering 265 pages. Previous to this, the subject Glen tenement had not ever been properly mapped to understand its potential. To quickly summarise this report, TerraSearch primarily directs our attention to the strong magnetic ore body at the pit and the magnetic highs which run to the northwest and the buried magnetic high to the west. The magnetic highs are indicated here by the colour purple. The geological model suggests that these 3 areas could be part of the same mineralising system. There is also postulation that they could be interconnected. This area of the pit and the northwest extension of the mineralised area then becomes the initial area of special interest. In addition to the extensive mapping of the area by TerraSearch, a focused soil survey was carried out in September 2008 in and around the pit area and in the area of the buried magnetic high to the west of the pit. 110 soil samples were taken as part of this survey. The conclusions of the soil survey were that the skarn mineralisation of the pit is clearly identified by elevated iron and base metals copper, lead, zinc and silver, that the highest values of copper occur in the central to southern parts of the pit and the highest lead and zinc are to the northeast of the pit, that the southern strike extent of the iron and base metals closes off at the area of the open pit, and that the northern strike of iron and base metals extends at least 200 northwest of the pit. It also notes that the ends of all sample lines are still mineralised and that the area sampled to the west had low surface readings due to a deeper buried magnetic source. TerraSearch advised that a geological model that best fits the field observations and current state of knowledge is of a large magnetic body with moderate contents of magnetite within which are pods and bands of high grade to massive magnetite. They also state that this amounts to a mineralisation envelope of some 10 million tonnes based on this initial geological model. Glen Holdings commenced a drilling program on the tenement in October 2010 under the supervision of TerraSearch to further identify the resource. TerraSearch reports some encouraging iron grades in the order of 40 to 50% Fe over downhole thicknesses of 5 metres to 12 metres. All holes drilled dipping 60 degrees to the northwest into a steeply dipping magnetic skarn. Magnetite intersected in most holes from hole 1 in the south to hole 8 just north of the creek, approximately 300 metres along strike. Holes further to the north, numbered 9, 10 and 11, whilst containing magnetite, did not intersect any of the high-grade massive magnetite. TerraSearch believe that there is a possibility that the magnetite lens dips away from the northern drill holes and have recommended that this theory be tested with drilling from the opposite direction next time, that is from the northwest. A complete report on the drill results, grades and tonnage estimates is under preparation. To create greater understanding, let's look at the drill hole locations. If we position the drill hole locations over this photograph, as well as the outline of the strong magnetic ore body, we can get a better picture of the layout. This is then shown more clearly than on this slide, and you can note that a number of the drill holes are positioned outside the boundary outline of the magnetic ore body. This was because the holes were drilled at an angle to intersect the steeply dipping magnetic skarn. This can be seen here in the photograph of the angled drill rig and in the assumed cross-section and drill plan prepared by the geophysicist below. The senior geologist of TerraSearch believes that the skarn angle may have rolled and be at a different angle to the north of the pit. This will be confirmed in the next round of drilling when holes will be drilled in the opposite direction. In addition to the 40 to 50% Fe grades found in the massive magnetite intersections, significant magnetite was found in the overburden, as is evident in the pit area here that clearly shows exposed magnetite virtually from the bottom to the top of the pit. The magnetite lying in the pit is also very magnetic, as can be seen by the magnet sticking to the rock. Rock samples lying on the pit floor also show visible signs of silver, shown here in this sample on the lower right. Dr. Simon Beams from TerraSearch, on the right of the main photo, is shown here discussing the rock chips from the drill intervals with some of Iron Glen's exploration team. Assay results showed low phosphorus levels, important for steel production, as well as good readings of silver and copper. Although the current drill program has successfully identified a magnetite resource, the full extent of the ore body cannot yet be delineated as it remains open on all sides at width and at depth. A further drilling program will need to be undertaken to determine the length, width and depth of this ore body. In addition to the pit area where the recent drill program was focused, Iron Glen Holdings have identified a further 3 areas of interest on the tenement for potential mineralisation, which were determined from Landsat imagery, magnetic surveys and limited fieldwork. The company continues to work with TerraSearch in the exploration of the tenement and has recently appointed Mineral Innovations, a specialist magnetic mining and mineral operations company, to assist the company complete a number of milestones over the next 6 months that will enable the company to reach a point to carry out an economic feasibility of developing an open-cut mining operations to produce magnetite for the export market. The development and commercialisation of the Iron Glen tenement is enhanced by an excellent infrastructure. It is located 40 kilometres from the south city of Townsville, which has a skilled workforce and a fully operational deep-sea port. It is 15 kilometres from the main Western Rail Line, 20 kilometres south of Ross River Dam, Townsville's main water supply, and a major electricity transmission line traverses 3 kilometres to the north. On the corporate development side, the board have appointed Religare Capital Markets to act as Iron Glen's London-based financial advisors to guide and advise the company in respect to its impending listing on London Stock Exchange Alternative Investment Market, AIM. Iron Glen's listing on AIM is anticipated to occur in the first quarter of 2011. Religare is an investment bank offering a full range of services around the AIM listing and also enable the company to access some of the world's largest capital markets, which will provide a significant advantage in enhancing Iron Glen's profile and increasing shareholders' value and liquidity. In summary then, a recent drill program has identified a high-grade magnetite resource. An expert report on the results of the drill program is under preparation. The magnetite ore body extends beyond the drilled area and is open on all sides at width and at depth. Further drilling and exploration activities are planned in the short term. A professional and experienced team is in place. There is potential for mining operations to commence relatively quickly, and financial advisors have been appointed to care for a London AIM listing of the company scheduled for the first quarter of 2011. The opportunity, a potential high-value increase for the tenement short term. For further information, Iron Glen Holdings is listed on the Australian Small Scale Offerings Board, and the company invites sophisticated investors wishing to participate in this ground floor opportunity to visit the website at www.asob.com.au/IGH and to call Mr Tony Pills on Australia +61 400 250 259. Any implied offer herein is an excluded offer pursuant to Section 708 8 and 11 of the Corporations Act 2001. Thank you for your interest.